So I'm going to talk about effects of academic integrity reminders on exam cheating among university students. So I've been working on this with Lee from Hanzhou Normal University for the last almost 10 years. And then her students and my students have been working on the studies I'm going to tell you about. So just give me a second. So this is an outline. So I'm going to talk about existing work on academic cheating, and then existing work on curbing academic cheating, and then we talk about our recent studies. So academic cheating, and in particular on exams, is epidemic across the world. So this is we took thousands of studies, and then we did a meta-analysis on them, and basically, if you look across the world, if there are data, then the map is colored. And in general, the average cheating rate is about 50% based upon lab or observed or self-reports. And then there are many factors affecting the cheating rates. In addition to culture dimensions, there are also these cognitive social tendencies and strategies or stable traits. But in order to curb academic cheating, there are some unconventional methods, and sadly, they are still being used, like spanking in some states of the United States today and some parts of the world. Victoria and I had a paper to show, using corporal punishment is not going to promote honesty. Rather, they actually would promote dishonesty. In any case, and there's also some effective methods used by people in India. I call it isolation, something like this. So to prevent student cheating by looking over others' exam answers, or you can strip them down like this. That turned out to be quite effective in India, but I guess it's not useful for us to do it in North America, in Canada, for example. So how are we going to curb academic cheating, in particular exam cheating, in our universities? So looking back, there are many methods that we used. So these ones are very common, widely used, with a long history, actually. One is sanction threat, starting in China about 500 AD. And next one is proctored exams, also starting around 500 AD in China. And then there's an honor code invented in 1736, and then Princeton implemented the unproctored exam in 1893. So these are the methods we've been using to kind of discourage cheating and encourage honesty during exams. But are they effective? So Don McCabe is one of the leading figures who did very influential studies, and mainly using self-report, and mainly in the United States. And so this is what he found. So if you ask students whether or not they cheat on exams, during proctored exams, the cheating rate is close to 50%. However, when you ask them whether or not they cheated on unproctored exams, the cheating rate is significantly lower. And this, to a lot of people, to be an illusion because it's self-report, so people are self-serving, and they may be worried to say they are cheating when there's no proctor around, so therefore the rate is lower. Larry Nucci actually called this unproctored exam as having kids in charge of a candy store. So, and I also did not believe, these results. So, but I feel like we need to do a more rigorous experimental work to confirm that it's true or not true. But how do you do this? So, so one of the things that we want to do is to make sure we do field studies with real exams, not fake exams in the lab. Another one is that we want to observe directly whether or not students are cheating, not using self-report. And also, we want to use the rigorous experimental designs to show causality. So in order to do that, we invented this paradigm called the fake facts paradigm. So basically, we give real exams to students when they are taking real exams. With the collaboration of their professors, we inserted 5 questions that are filling the blank questions. And so the question, for example, here goes, the famous experiment conducted by Kang is known as, you have to fill the blank. And the correct answer is tissue box experiment, which is a lie. I never did that. But we post these answers on the internet, and we told students to put away their computer, their phones, so they could not search the internet when they were doing the exam. So if they answer these questions correctly, we know for sure they have cheated. Anyhow, so in this first study, we used randomized, double-blind, randomized control experimental study design. So in this study, we focused on proctored exams with undergrads who are taking courses, psychology, intro psychology courses. And then we have 2 conditions. So one is there's no reminder condition that's typically done in our university campuses. The other one is we actually told them remind them about the university's academic cheating policy. So, and then we see whether or not there's any effect of these kind of reminders. So this is what we found. So if there's no reminder, the cheating rate is a whopping 70%. It's extremely high. However, when we give them reminders, the cheating rate goes down to about 55%. So there's a significant reduction if we just remind them about the university's academic sanction policies. Okay, so, and then we also asked them whether or not they had cheated in the last month, including this particular exam a couple of weeks later, and the self-report rate was very low. And more importantly, there was no significant correlation between what students self-reported and what we saw in the exam. So this has been replicated many times. So I just want to tell you, so there's dissociation between self-report cheating and the actual cheating on exams. Now, so the next study, we looked at the proctored exams using same double-blind randomized control design. And so in this experiment, we have 3 conditions: no reminder condition, and we remind students about the policy, academic integrity policies. But also in the 3rd condition, we actually told them someone actually cheated, was discovered, and was sanctioned. And as you can see, that reminder condition, the cheating rate is 50%. But regardless whether or not you give them policy reminder or exemplary reminder, you reduce the cheating rate significantly. But there's no difference between policy reminder and exemplary reminder. Now, so then we kind of basically gave students, in a second experiment, we pass out various components of our policy reminders. And one is we only tell students about consequences of cheating. The other one, we're telling them this exam is proctored, unproctored exam, we call it trust exam, and then tell them the consequence. Or we give them policy plus consequence, or give them an example of someone being sanctioned. Regardless of any kind of reminders, there's no difference. They are all significantly lower than no reminder condition. So basically, a reminder of any kind is going to promote honesty. So I don't know, so what you noticed between study 1 and study 2, there's actually a big difference. That is, the overall cheating rate in the proctored exam is higher than unproctored exam. That's exactly what Don McCabe found with self-reported data. So of course, the design, this study was done separately, so that's not rigorous enough. So what we did was we did a follow-up study. We randomly assigned participants in the proctored exam or unproctored exam, and using double-blind randomized control experiment. And then we did 4 experiments. The first experiment is students who are taking intro psych, and this is what we found. So the proctored exam had a significantly higher cheating rate than unproctored exam. And then we did a replicated study in a course that is introductory to pedagogy, to education, pedagogy, and the results are the same. So that is, proctored exam produce a higher cheating rate than unproctored exam. In both cases, there were no reminders in these two experiments. So then we added reminder to the experiments, and we got similar results. So the proctored exam have higher cheating rate than unproctored exam, even though in both cases they got reminders. And then we also replicate this in another course, Introduction to Pedagogy, and the results are the same. And so in conclusion, so what we found basically is exam cheating is prevalent among undergrad students, and unproctored exams result in less cheating than proctored exams, contrary to what Larry Nucci said, and consistent with Don McCabe's findings. And also, any form of academic integrity reminder before exams can reduce cheating, regardless of whether or not you are using proctored and unproctored exams. Thank you very much.